Hello, guys. Tonight we're going to take a slow, unhurried drift back in time, away from the hum of modern life, to a period often romanticized, but, as we'll discover, was frequently rather boring. We're going to explore what it was really like to be a cowboy. Not the gun-slinging hero of the silver screen kind, but the actual, historical, often quite smelly kind. Before we begin our gentle meander through the prairies and cow camps, please do consider hitting that like button and subscribing, but only if you actually enjoy what I do here. No pressure at all, and as always, I'd love to know where you're watching from tonight and what time it is for you right now. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. You wake up, not to the chirping of birds outside a window, or the gentle glow of a bedside lamp. No, you wake up to the sound of snoring, usually several different kinds of snoring, a low, rumbling chorus that has become the soundtrack to your mornings. You are lying on a straw-filled mattress in a bunkhouse, or perhaps on a bedroll under the vast, indifferent sky, the stars having long since begun to fade. The air is cold, with that particular biting chill that precedes a western sunrise, a dampness that seems to seep into your bones. The smell. The smell. It's a rich tapestry of stale sweat, unwashed wool, boot leather that has seen too many miles and too much mud, and a pervasive, underlying scent of horse. Always horse. It's the kind of smell that clings to everything, a subtle, personal aroma you've come to accept as your own. You groan softly, a private acknowledgement of your body's rebellion against another dawn. Your back aches, a dull, persistent throb from days spent in the saddle, hunched over the pommel, or from nights spent on uneven ground. Your shoulders feel tight, knotted from the constant tension of holding reins, swinging a lasso, or wrestling a calf. It's a familiar ache, one that has become a part of your daily existence, a quiet companion that reminds you, rather emphatically, that you are, in fact, alive and about to be put through the ringer once again. The light begins to bleed into the bunkhouse, a weak, hesitant gray seeping through the cracks in the rough-hewn timber walls, or filtering through the canvas of your bedroll if you're out on the range. You blink, trying to clear the grit from your eyes, a fine layer of dust that seems to settle everywhere, even on your eyelids, a testament to the ever-present soil that defines this landscape. You reach for your hat, a worn, stained felt hat. Its brim softened by years of sun and rain, its crown molded to the shape of your head. It's your constant companion, your shield against the sun, the wind, and sometimes the flies. Breakfast is simple, as it always is. The smell of strong, black coffee is the first truly welcoming scent of the day, a dark, bitter aroma that cuts through the stale air. It's usually brewed over an open fire, thick with grounds, potent enough to wake the dead, or at least a sleeping cowboy. You might get some bacon, usually heavily salted to preserve it, sizzled over the coals, its greasy aroma a fleeting comfort. And then there are the beans, always the beans. They are the cornerstone of the cowboy diet, a hearty, if somewhat monotonous, staple that provides energy for the long hours ahead. They're cooked in a Dutch oven, often with some salt pork or dried beef, a thick, savory stew that might vary slightly from day to day, but mostly it's just beans. You eat quickly, silently, your tin plate clanking softly against the rough wooden table or on the ground next to your bedroll. There's little conversation at this hour, just the quiet, focused ritual of fueling your body for the day's labor. It's a pragmatic affair, not a culinary delight. As the sun begins its relentless climb, painting the sky in fiery oranges and deep purples, you begin your duties. If you're at the ranch, it might be mending fences, a tedious, repetitive task that involves hauling heavy posts, stretching barbed wire until your hands are raw, and hammering nails until your arms ache. The sun beats down with an unforgiving intensity, even early in the morning, and the dust begins to rise almost immediately. It's a fine, powdery silt that sticks to your skin, settles in your hair, and as between your teeth, you learn to breathe shallowly, to keep your mouth mostly closed. A silent, futile battle against the omnipresent grit. The tools are simple, sturdy, designed for hard work. A hammer, pliers, wire cutters. Your hands, already calloused and rough, grow even tougher, the skin thick and scarred from countless nicks and scrapes. You work alongside the other cowboys, a motley crew of men from various backgrounds, some young and fresh-faced, others grizzled and silent, their eyes holding the distant, hardened look of men who have seen too much sky and too many empty miles. There's a quiet camaraderie, an unspoken understanding forged in shared labor and shared discomfort. Few words are exchanged, but a glance, a nod, a shared grunt of effort speaks volumes. You rely on each other, often without ever articulating it, a silent pact of mutual survival in a harsh, demanding landscape. If you're out on a cattle drive, the morning ritual is slightly different, but no less demanding. The cattle are already stirring, a low, guttural murmur rising from the herd, a shifting, restless mass of horns and hooves. You mount your horse, the familiar creak of the leather saddle a comforting sound. Your horse, a sturdy, reliable creature, is almost an extension of your own body, a partner in this endless dance across the plains. You've spent countless hours in the saddle, your seat now second nature, your legs accustomed to the rhythmic sway of the horse's gait. It's a relationship of quiet understanding, built on trust and necessity. Your job is to keep the herd moving, to keep them together, to prevent strays, to guide them, slowly, inexorably, across vast distances. It's a task that requires endless vigilance, patience, and a surprising amount of boredom. Hour after hour, you ride, listening to the lowing of the cattle, the creak of your saddle, the distant murmur of the wind. The landscape unfolds slowly, endlessly, a monotonous panorama of rolling hills, sparse scrub brush, and sometimes a shimmering mirage on the horizon. The sun climbs higher, beating down with a relentless intensity, turning your skin to leather, stinging your eyes. The dust is omnipresent on a cattle drive. It rises in thick, choking clouds from the hooves of thousands of cattle, a swirling, suffocating shroud that coats everything. You breathe it in, tasting grit on your tongue, feeling it settle in your lungs. Your bandana, pulled up over your nose and mouth, offers only a meager defense, quickly becoming saturated with sweat and dust, a damp, heavy cloth that chafes your skin. Your clothes are perpetually grimy, a second skin of dust and sweat, stiff and uncomfortable. The concept of being truly clean is a distant, almost mythical luxury. Lunch, if it happens, is usually a quick affair on the trail. Cold beans, leftover bacon, maybe some hardtack. You eat in the saddle or dismount for a brief moment, stretching your stiff limbs, your eyes constantly scanning the herd. The flies are a persistent nuisance, buzzing around your face, landing on your food, a constant, irritating presence that you learn to swat away almost unconsciously. Their buzzing drone becomes part of the background noise, just another layer of discomfort. The days are long, unimaginably long. The sun seems to hang in the sky forever, slowly baking the landscape, turning the air into a shimmering furnace. Your eyes sting from the glare, from the dust, from the endless scanning of the horizon. Thirst becomes a constant companion, a dry, scratchy sensation in your throat that no amount of lukewarm, gritty water seems to fully quench. You learn to ration your water, to take small sips, to savor each drop, knowing that the next watering hole might be miles away. The nights bring a different kind of challenge. After a long day of riding, you're exhausted, bone-weary in a way that civilian life rarely achieves. You eat your dinner, usually more beans, perhaps some stew, around a flickering campfire. Its smoke a welcome, if temporary, deterrent against the insects. The warmth of the fire is a profound comfort in the rapidly cooling night air, a small, tangible slice of civilization in the vast wilderness. But even then, your work isn't over. Someone has to take the night watch. You might get a few hours of precious sleep, stretched out on your bedroll, bundled in your blanket, listening to the murmuring of the cattle, the shifting of horses, the distant howl of a coyote. Then, it's your turn. You pull yourself up, your muscles protesting, and relieve the previous watch. You ride slowly around the sleeping herd, humming quietly, singing low, monotonous songs to keep the cattle calm. It's a lonely vigil, just you, your horse, and the vast, star-studded sky. The stars are impossibly bright out here, a dazzling, swirling tapestry of light that stretches from horizon to horizon, a humbling reminder of your own insignificance in this grand, indifferent universe. The cold can be extreme, even in summer. The temperature drops sharply after sundown, and a biting wind can sweep across the plains, cutting through your flimsy clothes. You pull your collar higher, huddle deeper into your saddle, trying to conserve every scrap of warmth. The silence is profound, broken only by the snorts of the horses, the occasional lowing of a restless cow, and the rhythmic creak of your saddle leather. Your mind drifts sometimes to home, to the faces of loved ones, to the warmth of a real bed. Sometimes it simply empties, becoming as vast and silent as the night sky above. It's a mental state of quiet endurance, where thought becomes a luxury, and simply existing in the moment is enough. Injuries are common. A kicked shin, a rope burn, a fall from a horse. There's no doctor out here, just the rough and ready remedies of your fellow cowboys. A clean rag, perhaps some whiskey poured over a wound, a stern warning to walk it off. Infection is a constant threat, a silent, insidious enemy that can claim a man faster than any outlaw's bullet. You learn to be careful, to be vigilant, to trust your horse. But even then, accidents happen. You learn to live with pain, to ignore the constant aches and throbs, to push through discomfort. It becomes a part of who you are, a quiet companion. The food, as mentioned, is repetitive. Dried beef, salt pork, hardtack, and an endless supply of beans. Sometimes, if you're lucky, a rabbit or a prairie chicken might be shot, offering a welcome, if fleeting, change. The taste of fresh meat, of vegetables, of fruit, becomes a distant, tantalizing memory, a phantom craving that haunts your dreams. The meals are functional, designed for sustenance, not for pleasure. You eat to live, not the other way around. Hygiene is, to put it mildly, an afterthought. Baths are rare, usually taken in a cold river or a stagnant stock pond, and only when the opportunity arises. You live in your clothes for days, sometimes weeks, on end. The dust, the sweat, the grime, it builds up, forming a protective, if rather pungent, layer. Your hair is often matted, your beard a bristly mess. The smell of your own body, and the bodies of your comrades, becomes so familiar that you no longer notice it, or rather, you've simply accepted it as the natural order of things. It's an unspoken agreement among men who share the same fate. Cleanliness is a luxury, not a necessity. The concept of personal space is also a foreign one. In the bunkhouse, you sleep side by side, your bedrolls almost touching. On the trail, you eat, sleep, and ride in close proximity to your fellow cowboys, sharing stories, sharing silence, sharing the inevitable discomforts. There's a certain intimacy that develops, a bond forged in shared hardship, a quiet understanding that transcends words. These men, rough and unpolished as they may be, become your makeshift family, your only companions in this vast, lonely world. When you finally reach a town, it's a jarring experience. The noise, the crowds, the unfamiliar smells. It's a sensory overload after weeks or months of quiet solitude on the range. The town itself is often a collection of dusty, ramshackle buildings. A saloon, a general store, a blacksmith, perhaps a small hotel. The streets are muddy or dusty, depending on the weather, and filled with the creak of wagon wheels, the shouts of teamsters, the distant tinkling of a piano from the saloon. The saloon is usually your first stop. The smell of stale beer, cheap whiskey, and sawdust is pervasive. The air is thick with tobacco smoke, a hazy cloud that hangs low over the card tables. You stand at the bar, nursing a glass of potent, raw whiskey, its burning warmth a welcome sensation after weeks of cold water and dust. You might try your luck at cards, a game of poker or faro, losing a few dollars, or perhaps, if you're lucky, winning enough for a new pair of boots. The music is often a tinny piano, played by a weary musician, its melodies mournful and out of tune, yet strangely comforting in their familiarity. You might get a bath, a real one, in a hotel or a public bathhouse, for $1 or $2. The hot water is a revelation, the sensation of scrubbing away weeks of grime almost intoxicating. You emerge feeling lighter, cleaner, though the feeling rarely lasts long. You might buy some new clothes, a clean shirt, a fresh pair of denim trousers, discarding the old, worn, smelly ones without a second thought. It's a fleeting moment of civilization, a brief respite from the relentless grime of the trail. Then there are the dangers, not the romanticized kind, but the real, mundane kind. Stampedes, for instance, a terrifying, thundering wave of panicked cattle, a force of nature that can crush a man, horse and all, in an instant. The dust, the noise, the sheer, overwhelming power of thousands of pounds of flesh and bone bearing down on you. It's a truly terrifying experience. You learn to ride hard, to cut them off, to turn them, a desperate, high-stakes dance with death. It's not about heroics, it's about survival. Then there's the weather. The prairie is unpredictable, often violent. Sudden, furious thunderstorms can erupt without warning, turning the dusty plains into a muddy bog in minutes. The lightning cracking like a whip across the sky, the thunder a deafening roar that rattles your very bones. You ride through driving rain, chilled to the bone, your clothes plastered to your skin, the water seeping into your boots. And then, just as suddenly, the rain stops, the sun emerges, and the mud begins to bake, turning into a cracked, impossible surface that makes walking treacherous. Blizzards in winter are another matter entirely. The cold is unimaginable, a biting, relentless chill that freezes exposed skin in minutes, numbs your fingers and toes, and turns your breath into icy clouds. The snowdrifts can be enormous, burying entire herds, trapping men and horses. You huddle around meager fires, sharing what little warmth you can, your hands chapped and bleeding, your body shivering uncontrollably. Survival becomes a minute-by-minute struggle, a desperate battle against the elements. Frostbite is common, leading to blackened fingers and toes, often requiring amputation, a grim reminder of the harsh realities of this untamed land. And loneliness. That's a constant companion for a cowboy. Weeks, sometimes months, away from any semblance of settled life, surrounded only by men and animals. The vast, empty landscape stretches in every direction, a stark reminder of your own insignificance, your own isolation. You learn to be comfortable with your own thoughts, to find companionship in the quiet presence of your horse, in the vastness of the sky. But sometimes, in the dead of night, under that impossibly bright canopy of stars, the loneliness can press down on you, a heavy, suffocating blanket that makes the silence unbearable. You might hum a tune, or sing a quiet, mournful song, just to hear the sound of your own voice, a fragile thread connecting you to the world of men. Your clothes are, to put it mildly, functional. Denim trousers, rough and sturdy, designed to withstand the scrapes and snags of brush and barbed wire. A flannel shirt, often faded and patched, offering some warmth but little protection against the elements. A heavy coat, usually made of wool or canvas, for the colder days and nights. Chaps, made of leather or canvas, are essential, protecting your legs from thorns, rope burns, and the occasional kick from a recalcitrant cow. They are stiff, often smelly, and always covered in dust or mud, but they are your armor against the daily grind. Your boots, well, they are the foundation of your existence. Sturdy leather, with a pointed toe for easy stirrup entry and a high heel to keep your foot from slipping through. They are perpetually caked in mud, dust, or worse, and they pinch, they rub, they blister. You learn to ignore the constant discomfort, to treat your feet as numb extensions of your legs. The saddle itself is a work of art, a finely crafted piece of leather and wood that becomes an extension of your own body. It's heavy, cumbersome off the horse, but once you swing it into place, it feels like home. The leather is worn smooth in places, grooved in others, a testament to countless hours spent in the saddle. Its smell, less of horse, of sweat, of saddle soap, a unique aroma that is inextricably linked to your profession. You learn to balance effortlessly, to ride for hours without thought, the rhythmic sway of the horse becoming a part of your own heartbeat. Your legs, once sore and unused to the motion, now move instinctively with the horse, a seamless partnership. Roping is a skill you acquire, slowly, painfully. The lasso, a coil of stiff, treated rope, feels heavy in your hand at first, clumsy and unwieldy. You practice endlessly, throwing it at fence posts, at startled calves, at anything that stands still long enough. Your wrist aches, your shoulder protests, and the rope constantly snags and tangles. But gradually, painstakingly, the motion becomes fluid, graceful. The rope flies through the air, a silent, deadly serpent, settling perfectly around its target. The satisfaction of a clean, accurate throw is a small, quiet triumph, a fleeting moment of mastery in a world that often feels chaotic and uncontrolled. Branding is another essential, if unpleasant, chore. The smell of burning hair and flesh, the lowing and bawling of frightened calves, the hiss of the hot iron. It's a sensory assault. You hold the calf down, its powerful legs kicking and struggling, its breath hot and damp on your face. The work is dirty, physically demanding, and often quite loud. But it's necessary, a way to mark the cattle, to claim them as your own, to prevent rustling. You learn to be quick, efficient, to minimize the animal's suffering and your own exposure to the pungent smoke. Rustling, of course, is a real threat, not just a campfire story. You might encounter desperate men or organized gangs, trying to steal the very livelihood you've spent months hurting. It's a tense, dangerous situation, often resolved with intimidation, but sometimes with violence. You carry a pistol, a heavy, reliable Colt revolver strapped to your hip. It's not for show or for quick draws in a dusty street. It's a tool, a last resort, a quiet promise of protection in a world where law and order can be a long way off. You practice shooting, not for speed, but for accuracy, for reliability. You learn to clean it meticulously, to keep it ready, because you never know when you might need it. The concept of a day off is largely alien to a cowboy. The work is endless. The cattle always need tending. The fences always need mending. Even when you are in town, it's often for supplies, for a brief respite before returning to the grind. Sundays are not days of rest, but simply another day for work. You might spend a moment in quiet reflection, perhaps reading a worn Bible if you're inclined, or simply staring at the endless sky, contemplating the vastness of the universe. But the work, the chores, the relentless demands of the ranch or the trail are always present, a constant, underlying rhythm to your life. Your education, if you have any, is rudimentary. Most cowboys are functionally literate, able to sign their name, perhaps read a newspaper if one comes their way. But formal schooling is a distant memory, if it ever existed. Your real education comes from the land itself, from the horses, from the cattle, from the old-timers who teach you the ropes. You learn to read the weather signs, to track animals, to identify different grasses, to understand the subtle shifts in the cattle's mood. It's a practical, hands-on education learned through hard experience, through trial and error, through the occasional harsh lesson from a disgruntled steer. Entertainment is simple, often self-made. Storytelling around the campfire is a common pastime. Tall tales of daring exploits, of legendary cowboys, of encounters with outlaws or wild animals. These stories are embellished, exaggerated, growing grander with each retelling, a way to pass the long, silent hours, to create a sense of shared history and mythology. Sometimes, someone might have a harmonica, its mournful, reedy notes drifting out across the dark plains, a melancholic soundtrack to the endless night, or a guitar strummed softly, its chords a gentle accompaniment to the quiet murmur of voices. These are fleeting moments of beauty, small sparks of joy in a tough, demanding life. Mail is a rare luxury. Letters from home, if they ever come, are cherished possessions. Read and reread until the paper is soft and worn. They are a connection to a world that feels increasingly distant. Reminder of the people you left behind. The arrival of a letter is a major event, a break in the monotony, a moment of intense emotional connection in a life often characterized by emotional stoicism. You write back, slowly, painstakingly, your hand aching from the unfamiliar act of holding a pen, trying to convey the vastness of your experiences, the challenges of your life, without alarming your family. Medical care is a grim joke. Beyond the whiskey for antiseptic, there's little available for serious injuries or illnesses. A broken bone might be splinted with rough wood and bandages, and then you simply endure the pain, hoping it heals straight. A fever might be sweated out under layers of blankets, or perhaps a concoction of local herbs might be brewed by someone with a passing knowledge of frontier remedies. The risk of death from seemingly minor ailments is ever present, a silent threat that you learn to live with, to simply accept as part of the deal. You pray you don't get sick, because out here, help is a long, long way off, if it exists at all. The saddle sores, a constant, irritating, and often painful reality of spending all day, every day, in the saddle. They chafe, they burn, They sometimes break open, leaving raw, stinging wounds. You shift constantly, trying to find a comfortable position, a temporary reprieve from the relentless pressure. You might apply some salve, if you have it, or simply endure, gritting your teeth, counting the minutes until you can dismount and stretch your aching backside. It's a small, persistent torment, a constant reminder of your profession, a silent companion on every journey. The dust, we've talked about it, but it truly defines the experience. It gets everywhere, in your eyes, making them red and gritty, in your nose, creating a constant, irritating tickle, in your mouth, coating your teeth, making your tongue feel like sandpaper. It settles on your food, in your coffee, a fine, gritty layer that you simply eat or drink without comment. It infiltrates your clothes, your hair, your skin, becoming a second skin, a permanent layer that no amount of brushing or shaking can fully remove. You learn to accept it, to simply be a creature of dust, a natural extension of the dry, arid landscape. Your hands, once perhaps soft or merely calloused from farm work, become gnarled and tough, scarred by rope burns, cuts, and scrapes. The nails are often broken, chipped, ingrained with dirt. They are the tools of your trade, the instruments through which you interact with the world of cattle and horse and leather. You care for them, but not in a gentle way. You use them, abuse them, and they endure, a testament to your own resilience. The horses themselves are more than just animals. They are your partners, your lifeline, your companions. You spend more time with your horse than with any human being. Often. You learn their temperaments, their quirks, their moods. You learn to groom them, to feed them, to tend to their injuries. You trust them implicitly, your life often depending on their sure-footedness, their speed, their calm in the face of a stampede. There's a silent bond, a profound respect, that develops between a cowboy and his horse, an understanding that transcends language. They are the true heroes of the West, though they'd never ask for the recognition. Water, the search for it, the taste of it when found. It's a constant preoccupation, not the clear, cool, flowing water you might have known back home. Out here, water is often muddy, stagnant, tasting faintly of sulfur or whatever else has leached into it from the earth. You drink it anyway, out of sheer necessity, knowing that even bad water is better than no water at all. You learn to spot the faint signs of a water source, a greener patch of grass, a certain type of rock formation, a change in the air. Finding water is a small victory, a moment of profound relief in a parched land. The isolation of the frontier, even when you are with other cowboys, is a profound psychological element. You are often days, sometimes weeks, away from the nearest town, from any established community. The vast, empty landscape stretches out around you, an endless, indifferent canvas. There is no bustling market, no friendly neighbor, no familiar church steeple. Only the quiet vastness. This solitude can be calming for some, a place for introspection and quiet contemplation. For others, it can be maddening, a relentless quiet that amplifies every thought, every worry, every unspoken fear. You learn to live with it, to accept it as another facet of the cowboy life. Your sleep, when it comes, is rarely truly restful. You are always half awake, listening for the subtle sounds of the herd, the shifting of horses, the distant howl of a predator. You sleep lightly, a survival mechanism honed by years of living on the edge. The ground is hard, uneven, and the temperature can drop sharply during the night, even in the summer months. You might wake up shivering, your teeth chattering, pulling your blanket tighter, longing for the warmth of a fire. Dreams, if they come, are often a jumble of the day's events. The endless dust, the lowing of cattle, the creak of the saddle, a constant echo of your waking life. The concept of time becomes fluid, dictated by the sun and the needs of the herd. There are no clocks, no fixed schedules, only the endless progression of dawn, day, dusk, and night. You eat when you can, sleep when you can, work when you must. The seasons blur into a continuous cycle of hot, dusty summers, cold, biting winters, and brief, muddy springs. Each day is a repetition of the last, a continuous loop of labor, discomfort, and survival. The passage of weeks, months, even years, can feel like a single, drawn-out experience, marked only by the movement of cattle or the arrival of a rare letter. The camp cook, or cookie, is a vital, often cantankerous figure in your life. He is the keeper of your sustenance, the source of your daily beans and coffee. His wagon, the chuck wagon, is the mobile kitchen, stocked with flour, coffee, dried meats, and, of course, beans. He wakes before anyone else, gets the fire going, and starts brewing the coffee, its aroma a beacon in the cold, dark morning. He is usually gruff, opinionated, and fiercely protective of his domain, but he is also indispensable. A good cookie can make the difference between a tolerable drive and an utterly miserable one. His food, while simple, is often the only hot, prepared meal you'll get for weeks on end. The social hierarchy is subtle but present. The ranch owner, the foreman, the trail boss, and then the cowboys. You are at the bottom of the ladder, the hands who do the grueling physical labor. But within the cowboy ranks, there's an unspoken respect for skill, for resilience, for a quiet competence. A man who can ride a bronc, throw a perfect loop, or calm a nervous herd earns the respect of his peers, far more than any fancy talk or loud boasting. It's a meritocracy of practical ability, where actions speak louder than words, and a man's worth is measured by his usefulness. Your horse, your trusty companion, gets old too. You see the signs, the slowing gait, the slight stiffness in their joints. You care for them as best you can, knowing that their longevity is intertwined with your own. The idea of breaking a wild Mustang is a romantic notion, but the reality is a dangerous, often brutal process of taming a powerful, frightened animal. You learn to be firm, but patient, to understand the horse's instincts, to build trust, to create a working partnership out of raw, untamed power. The bond, once forged, is incredibly strong, a silent understanding between two beings relying on each other in a vast, wild world. The campfire, at night, becomes the heart of your small, nomadic community. The flickering flames cast dancing shadows on the faces of your comrades, softening the hard lines etched by sun and wind. The crackle and pop of the burning wood, the subtle scent of smoke, the warmth spreading through your chilled limbs. These are the small comforts that make the long, silent nights bearable. You might share a meager tobacco ration, watching the glowing embers float up into the vast darkness, like tiny, fleeting stars. It's a moment of quiet connection, a shared pause in the endless cycle of work and travel. The landscape itself becomes a character in your life. The endless, rolling prairies, sometimes covered in tall, swaying grass, sometimes barren and dusty. The distant, blue outlines of mountains on the horizon, always beckoning, always seemingly out of reach. The winding rivers, often shallow and muddy, sometimes raging torrents after a sudden rain. The thorny scrub brush, the prickly pear cacti, the occasional rattlesnake sunning itself on a warm rock. You learn to read the land, to understand its moods, its dangers, its subtle promises of water or shelter. It's a harsh, unforgiving mistress, but it's also undeniably beautiful in its raw, untamed majesty. Your senses are heightened out here. The wind whispers constantly, a soft, insistent murmur that can carry the scent of rain miles away, or the distant lowing of a stray calf. You learn to distinguish between the various sounds of the night. The hoot of an owl, the howl of a coyote, the rustling of a nocturnal creature in the brush, the subtle shift in the herd that might indicate a problem. Your eyes, accustomed to the vast distances, can spot a distant rider, a column of smoke, a change in the terrain that others might miss. You are constantly aware, constantly vigilant, always observing, always learning. The concept of retirement is mostly a joke among cowboys. You work until you can't work anymore, until your body gives out, until you're too old or too injured to sit a horse or throw a rope. Some drift into town, taking odd jobs, fading into obscurity. Others simply disappear into the vastness of the land, their final resting place known only to the wind and the prairie grass. There's no pension, no comfortable cottage to retire to, just the open range and the endless work until the work finally stops. The monotony can be a profound challenge. Day after day, the same tasks, the same landscapes, the same food. The cattle walk slowly, inexorably, forward. You ride, you watch, you guide. There are no sudden surprises, no dramatic events most days, only the slow, predictable rhythm of the drive. Your mind, once perhaps restless and eager for excitement, learns to embrace the quiet, to find a strange comfort in the repetition. It's a state of quiet endurance, where every small variation, a passing cloud, a particularly vibrant sunset, a new song hummed by a fellow cowboy, becomes a significant event. The simple pleasures become amplified. A hot cup of coffee on a cold morning, the brief warmth of a campfire, a piece of fresh tobacco, if you can get it, the taste of whiskey in a town saloon, a moment of laughter shared with a comrade over some small absurdity. These are the rare, precious moments that punctuate the long stretches of mundane existence, shining like tiny beacons in the vast, quiet wilderness. They are not grand, not elaborate, but they are deeply felt, profoundly appreciated. The threat of illness is ever present, more so than outlaws. Dysentery, influenza, typhoid, cholera. These silent killers sweep through camps, decimating ranks without a single gunshot. You see men sicken, their bodies wasting away, their eyes growing dull. There's little to be done beyond offering a sip of water, a cool cloth for a fevered brow, a quiet word of comfort. The dead are buried quickly, in shallow graves, their names perhaps etched on a hastily carved wooden marker, or simply left to the elements. You learn to harden yourself to it, to accept that death is just another part of the journey, another statistic in the endless, unforgiving ledger of the West. The skills you acquire are not taught in books. You learn to read brand marks, to identify different breeds of cattle by sight and sound, to understand the subtle language of the herd. You learn to tie a dozen different knots, each for a specific purpose, each perfected through endless repetition. You learn to mend your own clothes, to repair your own gear, to be self-sufficient in a world where help is scarce. These are the quiet, practical skills that keep you alive, that allow you to survive and endure in a challenging environment. Your relationship with the land itself deepens over time. It's not just a place where you work. It becomes a part of you. You know, its contours, its hidden springs, its secret valleys. You recognize the different types of grass, the various species of birds and animals that inhabit it. You feel the pulse of the seasons, the subtle shifts in temperature, in light, in wind. The vast, empty spaces no longer feel lonely, but rather a profound, expansive emptiness that mirrors the quiet spaces within your own mind. It's a strange, symbiotic relationship where you extract a living from the land, and in return, the land imprints itself upon your very being. The sounds of the prairie are always present, the ceaseless whisper of the wind through the tall grasses, a soft, undulating sigh that can be calming or unsettling depending on its mood. The distant lowing of cattle, a mournful, rhythmic sound that carries for miles. The chirping of crickets at night, a constant, high-pitched chorus. The occasional howl of a coyote, a lonely, haunting cry that echoes across the vast emptiness. The hoot of an owl, the rustle of a snake in the brush, the distant rumble of thunder. These sounds become a part of your internal landscape, a constant presence that fills the silence, guiding you, comforting you, or warning you. You might carry a few personal possessions, small tokens from a past life, a worn photograph, a faded letter, a smooth stone from a riverbed. These are cherished items, reminders of who you were, of where you came from, of the connections that still exist beyond the endless horizon. They are kept safe in a worn leather pouch, pulled out in quiet moments, held gently, a silent conversation with a distant memory. They are a fragile link to a world that feels increasingly remote. The sunrise is always a spectacle out here, the sky exploding in a riot of color, painting the vast plains in hues of orange, pink, and purple. It's a moment of breathtaking beauty, a daily ritual that never ceases to inspire a quiet sense of awe. You watch it from your horse, a silent witness to the dawn of a new day, a fresh beginning in the endless cycle of work and survival. It's a moment of profound peace, a fleeting reprieve from the daily grind, a reminder of the quiet majesty of the world around you. The sunsets are equally spectacular, painting the western sky in fiery reds and brilliant golds, fading slowly into the deep, inky blackness of the night. The stars emerge, one by one, then by the thousands, a dazzling, swirling tapestry that fills the entire sky. You lie on your bedroll, gazing up at them, feeling impossibly small, yet profoundly connected to something vast and ancient. It's a moment of quiet contemplation, a time to simply exist, to let your mind drift into the endless depths of the cosmos. Your body adapts. The constant riding builds strength in your legs and core, a quiet resilience that allows you to endure the endless hours in the saddle. Your hands become stronger, tougher, able to handle the rough ropes and tools without complaint. Your skin, weathered by sun and wind, becomes a leathery shield, protecting you from the elements. You become lean, wiry, your muscles honed by hard physical labor. It's a body built for endurance, for survival, a testament to the harsh demands of the cowboy life. The fear of a stampede is always lurking, a low hum beneath the surface of your conscious mind. The subtle shift in the herd, a sudden noise, a flash of lightning, any of these can trigger a panicked, thundering rush of thousands of pounds of flesh and bone. The ground trembles, the roar is deafening, and the dust is suffocating. You ride hard, pushing your horse to its limits, trying to turn the lead cattle to prevent the chaos from engulfing the entire herd. It's a moment of intense, primal fear, where instinct takes over, and your only thought is survival, for yourself and for the herd. The adrenaline rushes through your veins, a powerful surge that sharpens your senses, making time seem to slow down. The infrequent visits from a peddler or traveling salesman are events of great excitement. These men bring news from the outside world, rumors of towns, of prices, of distant events. They also bring goods, tobacco, needles and thread, perhaps a new harmonica or a rare newspaper. You gather around, listening intently, eager for any scrap of information, any connection to the wider world beyond the endless plains. It's a fleeting moment of social connection, a brief respite from the constant company of your fellow cowboys. The taste of fresh water, truly fresh, cool water, from a spring or a well, is a sublime experience, a moment of pure, unadulterated pleasure that few city dwellers would ever appreciate. It washes away the dust, soothes your parched throat, and revitalizes your weary body. You drink deeply, slowly, savoring every drop, allowing the cool liquid to penetrate to your very core. It's a simple luxury, but one that feels incredibly profound in this arid land. The branding fire, its flames licking at the night sky, its heat radiating outwards, is another constant sensory presence. The smell of burning wood, the occasional sizzle of fat, the glow of the embers, these are the familiar elements of a branding camp. The long hours spent wrestling calves, the grunt of effort, the sweat dripping into your eyes. It's a demanding, physically exhausting task. But it's also a communal effort, a shared labor that binds you to your comrades, a rhythmic dance of men and animals, fire and iron. The boredom, though, is perhaps the most pervasive aspect of the cowboy life. It's not an exciting boredom, but a quiet, enduring monotony. Endless hours spent in the saddle, watching cattle graze, riding slowly across vast, unchanging landscapes. The absence of stimulation forces your mind inwards, to contemplation, to observation, to a quiet acceptance of the slow pace of life. You learn to fill the silence with your own thoughts, your own memories, your own quiet observations of the sky, the clouds, the subtle movements of the land. It's a form of meditation, perhaps born of necessity. The sounds of the camp at night are a symphony of the mundane. The crackle of the fire, the occasional snort of a horse, the soft sigh of the wind, the rhythmic chewing of a cud by a nearby cow. You listen, not actively, but passively, allowing the sounds to wash over you, to blend into the background hum of the night. It's a comforting familiarity, a constant reassurance that you are not alone, that life continues its slow, predictable rhythm around you. Your dreams, when sleep finally takes hold, are often a mix of the day's experiences and the faint echoes of a past life. You might dream of green fields, of cool water, of the faces of your family. Or you might dream of stampedes, of endless dust, of the smell of hot iron. They are vivid, sometimes unsettling, sometimes strangely comforting. You wake from them slowly, reluctantly, the boundary between sleep and waking a blurred, indistinct line, the memories of the dream clinging to you like mist. The occasional wild animal encounter breaks the monotony, though rarely in a dramatic way. A coyote slinking away into the brush, a distant pack of wolves howling at the moon, a curious deer peering from the cover of trees. These are reminders of the untamed nature of the land, of the other inhabitants of this vast wilderness. You are a part of their world, an intruder, perhaps, but also a fellow traveler under the same endless sky. Your saddle, your most prized possession, is meticulously cared for. It's cleaned, oiled, repaired, a constant labor of love. Every scratch, every scuff, every worn patch tells a story, a silent testament to countless hours spent in its embrace. It's a familiar weight, a comfortable extension of your body, a piece of craftsmanship that provides solace and support in the harsh environment. The smell of fresh leather, mingled with the scent of horse and sweat, is a unique perfume that you've come to associate with home, with purpose, with life itself. The sun's relentless presence shapes your days, its scorching heat in summer, its faint warmth in winter. The way it casts long, dramatic shadows across the plains in the late afternoon, transforming familiar landscapes into stark, alien vistas. The blinding glare at midday, forcing you to squint, to pull your hat low over your eyes. You learn to live by its rhythm, to use its position in the sky as your clock, your guide. It is a constant, unyielding force, a reminder of the vast, natural power that governs your existence. The long hours spent alone in the saddle allow for a certain kind of introspection. Your mind wanders, free from the distractions of settled life. You contemplate the past. You muse on the future. You simply observe the world around you with a quiet, unhurried focus. It's a forced solitude that, over time, can become a source of quiet strength, a deepening of your own internal landscape. You learn to be comfortable in your own company, to find a sense of peace in the vast emptiness. The vastness of the landscape is a constant presence. The endless horizon, stretching in every direction, seemingly without end. The sense of scale is overwhelming, making you feel impossibly small, yet also strangely liberated. There are no walls, no boundaries, no narrow streets, only the open sky and the rolling earth, stretching on forever. This immensity can be daunting, but it can also be profoundly calming, a reminder of the quiet, unchanging nature of the world. The sense of taste, dulled by repetitive food, becomes acutely sensitive to any variation. The subtle sweetness of a wild berry, tea, the unexpected crunch of a fresh vegetable if you're lucky enough to find one, the rich, smoky flavor of a freshly shot rabbit cooked over an open fire. These are moments of intense, fleeting pleasure, savored deeply, remembered long after they're gone. The blandness of the everyday makes the rare moments of flavor truly exquisite. Your hands, once perhaps smooth, are now a roadmap of a working life. Lines etched deep from grasping reins, calluses thick from rope. The skin is weathered, sun-darkened, tough as old leather. You glance at them sometimes, seeing not just your own hands, but the hands of every cowboy who came before you, every man who wrestled cattle and rode the range. They are a tangible link to a long, unbroken lineage of hard work and quiet endurance. The wind, a constant companion, whispers secrets across the prairie. It can be a gentle breeze, a soft sigh that rustles the grass and cools your face, or it can be a fierce, biting gale, tearing at your clothes, whipping dust into your eyes, making every step a struggle. You learn to read its subtle shifts, to anticipate its moods, to understand its language. It is a living presence, a constant reminder of the raw, untamed power of nature. The smell of rain, long before it falls, is a unique and comforting scent in the arid West, a deep, earthy aroma that signals relief from the dust and heat. You can smell it coming, carried on the wind, a promise of coolness, of refreshed air, of temporarily settled dust. It's a profoundly welcome scent, a small harbinger of comfort in a world defined by its harshness. The quiet understanding between cowboys, that unspoken camaraderie, is a profound aspect of life on the trail. You share dangers, discomforts, and the vast, silent stretches of loneliness. You rely on each other, often with little more than a nod or a shared glance. There's no need for elaborate conversations, no grand declarations, just the quiet knowledge that the man riding next to you, enduring the same hardships, is there for you if you need him. It's a bond forged in the crucible of shared experience, stronger than any words. The sound of your own horse's breathing, a steady, rhythmic cadence beneath you, is a constant, calming presence. The soft snorts, the rustle of its mane, the gentle thud of its hooves on the trail. It's a familiar, comforting sound that blends with the rhythm of your own breath, creating a silent symphony of movement and existence. Your horse is your companion, your partner, You're silent confidant in the vast emptiness. The sun rises and sets endlessly, day after day, year after year. Each one is a promise, a challenge, a testament to the quiet persistence of life. You are a part of that rhythm, a small, enduring figure on the vast, indifferent landscape. You ride, you work, you endure. There is no grand narrative, no dramatic climax, just the continuous unfolding of days, weeks, months, years, a quiet testament to the simple act of living. The dust settles, the sun fades, the sounds of the day quiet down, replaced by the soft hum of the night. You close your eyes, feeling the gentle rise and fall of your own breath, a steady, unwavering rhythm. The phantom aches in your back and shoulders begin to soften, to recede like distant echoes. The memory of dust and sweat, of raw beans and strong coffee, gently dissolves into the gathering stillness. You are no longer a cowboy, no longer bound by the saddle, the herd, the endless plains. That life, though deeply etched into your being, is now a memory, a gentle whisper in the vast, quiet expanse of your mind. The sounds of the bunkhouse, the creak of the saddle, the lowing of cattle, they are fading, becoming softer, more distant, like the last notes of a forgotten lullaby. Your body feels lighter, unbound by the weight of fatigue, of constant movement. It is a sensation of effortless floating, a gentle drift into an immeasurable calm. The vastness of the sky, the endless horizon, the silent stretch of the prairie. These images, once so vivid, now blend into a seamless, comforting darkness, a boundless expanse of peace. The concept of time dissolves completely. There is no tomorrow to anticipate, no yesterday to recall, only this unending present, a moment of perfect, profound stillness. You are drifting, effortlessly, beyond the grasp of hours and minutes, into a timeless realm where all the demands of the waking world simply cease to exist. The dry wit, the subtle humor, the quiet endurance, these aspects of your cowboy existence gently recede, like shadows lengthening and then disappearing into the dusk. They are part of the story you have lived, but they are not the story you are now entering. Now, there is only quiet. The sounds, even the subtle ones, become fainter, softer, until they are nothing more than gentle whispers on the edge of awareness. The wind, the snorting horse, the distant coyote, they are dissolving, becoming one with the profound, enveloping silence. You are sinking deeper, effortlessly, into the boundless, silent sea of sleep. The surface of consciousness, the realm of the waking world, recedes further and further, becoming an infinitely distant point of light. The last vestiges of individual existence slowly dissolve, like mist vanishing in the morning sun, leaving behind only profound tranquility. There is no resistance, no effort, no struggle, only a gentle, inexorable surrender to the profound, encompassing peace that holds you. You are drifting, floating, becoming one with the vast, silent embrace of oblivion. The range is not just a distant memory, but a forgotten echo, its harsh realities finally and utterly stilled. Your life, a long, arduous journey, filled with hardship and resilience, has reached its quiet, eternal destination. You are home, truly home, in the boundless, silent embrace of sleep. The dust and the chores, the cattle and the comrades, all fade, and you are left with only the profound, comforting quiet, carrying you deeper and deeper into the endless, peaceful night, a night that stretches into eternity. The smell of sagebrush after a light rain, a clean, sharp scent that momentarily cuts through the ever-present aroma of dust and horse. It's a fleeting moment of freshness, a subtle reminder that even in this harsh land, there are moments of simple, natural beauty. You might take a deep breath, savoring it, allowing it to cleanse your lungs, a small internal purification. The texture of the leather on your saddle, worn smooth in some places, rough and cracked in others, a testament to countless hours of riding. Your fingers instinctively trace the patterns, the subtle grooves and imperfections that tell a story of hard work and endless miles. It's a familiar comfort, a tactile connection to your profession, a constant presence beneath you. The taste of coffee, strong and bitter, but always warm, a small comfort on a cold morning. It's not a gourmet delight, certainly, but it's a warming sensation that spreads through your belly, chasing away the morning chill, providing a much-needed jolt to your weary system. You gulp it down quickly, savoring the brief moment of warmth before the day's endless tasks begin. The creak of the chuck wagon, a constant, rhythmic sound as it rolls across the uneven terrain, its wooden wheels groaning under the weight of supplies. It's the sound of sustenance, of the next meal, of the continuity of the drive. It's a comforting noise, a background hum that blends with the lowing of the cattle and the whisper of the wind, a steady reminder of the slow, inevitable progress across the land. The way the light shifts as the sun dips below the horizon, painting the clouds in fiery hues of orange and purple, then fading to a deep, bruised blue. It's a daily spectacle, a moment of profound beauty that you witness from your horse, a silent observer in the vast, open theater of the plains. Each sunset is unique, yet each one is a familiar ritual, a gentle winding down of the day. The feeling of the wind whipping through your hair, tugging at your hat, a constant, physical presence that reminds you of the immense, untamed power of the elements. It can be a gentle caress, a soft sigh that cools your face, or a fierce, biting gale that forces you to hunch your shoulders, to grit your teeth. You learn to lean into it, to accept its relentless presence as another facet of the cowboy life. The rhythm of the cattle drive, a slow, methodical progression across the land. Thousands of hooves churning up dust, creating a low, rumbling sound that vibrates through the earth. The constant, rhythmic lowing of the cattle, a murmur of contentment or a grumble of restlessness. It's a hypnotic sound, a primal beat that guides your movements, that dictates the pace of your days. You become attuned to it, a part of the herd, moving as one with the vast, living organism. The sheer physical exertion, the constant demand on your body. The ache in your thighs from endless hours in the saddle, the burning in your shoulders from swinging a rope, the stiffness in your back from bending and lifting. It's a relentless, daily grind that tests your endurance, that pushes your body to its limits. But it also builds a deep, quiet strength, a resilience that allows you to face each new day with a grim, unwavering determination. The stars, when they emerge at night, are impossibly bright out here, undimmed by city lights. They stretch across the sky in a dazzling, swirling tapestry, a luminous canopy that fills your entire vision. You lie on your bedroll, gazing up at them, feeling impossibly small, yet profoundly connected to something vast and ancient. It's a moment of quiet awe, a reminder of the immense scale of the universe and your own tiny, fleeting place within it. The sound of your own voice, humming a low tune or singing a quiet song to the cattle on night watch. It's a way to break the silence, to keep the cattle calm, and to keep your own mind from wandering too far into the vast emptiness. Your voice, perhaps not melodious, becomes a comforting presence, a familiar sound in the profound quiet of the night. The subtle changes in the landscape as you move across the plains, the shift from tall, swaying grass to sparse, thorny scrub brush. The appearance of distant, blue mountains on the horizon, gradually growing larger, more defined. The winding path of a river, a thin, shimmering ribbon in the distance, promising water and temporary respite. You learn to read these signs, to understand the subtle language of the land, to anticipate what lies ahead. The unexpected delight of finding a cool, clear spring, its water bubbling up from the earth, clean and pure. It's a rare and precious moment, a profound relief from the constant thirst. You dismount, kneel down, and drink deeply, allowing the cool liquid to wash away the dust and grime, to revitalize your weary body. It's a simple pleasure, but one that feels incredibly profound in this arid land. The flies, a constant, irritating presence, buzzing around your face, landing on your food, crawling on your skin. You swat at them, curse at them, but they are relentless, an unavoidable part of the summer landscape. Their buzzing drone becomes a background hum, a subtle layer of discomfort that you eventually learn to ignore, or at least to tolerate. The loneliness of the long ride, even with comrades nearby. Each man is absorbed in his own thoughts, his own quiet observations. The vastness of the land amplifies the sense of individual solitude. You learn to be comfortable with your own company, to find a strange peace in the quiet contemplation that comes from endless hours of solitary riding. It's a unique form of introspection, a forced communion with your own thoughts. The satisfaction of a well-thrown rope, seeing it uncoil, fly through the air, and settle perfectly around a calf's legs. It's a moment of quiet triumph, a small victory in a world of constant challenges. The effort, the practice, the patience, it all culminates in that single, graceful movement, a testament to your developing skill. The raw taste of beans, cooked simply over an open fire, often flavored only with salt pork. It's a monotonous diet, certainly, but it's filling, providing the energy you need for the grueling physical labor. You eat quickly, without savoring, simply fueling your body, knowing that tomorrow will bring more of the same. It's a pragmatic approach to sustenance, a stark reality of frontier life. The smell of horse, always present, a blend of sweat, leather, and their unique earthy aroma. It's a comforting smell, a familiar scent that is inextricably linked to your daily life, to your work, to your very existence. You barely notice it anymore. It has become a part of you, a natural extension of your own personal scent. The subtle creak of your bedroll as you shift positions at night, the rough canvas rubbing against the ground. It's a quiet sound, a familiar comfort that signals the end of another long day, the promise of a few hours of uneasy rest. You pull your blanket tighter, huddle deeper into your makeshift bed, listening to the sounds of the night, slowly drifting towards sleep. The vast, quiet stretches of nothingness between towns, miles upon them, aisles of empty land, broken only by the occasional scrub brush, a distant rock formation, or the slow, meandering path of a dry riverbed. It's a landscape that tests your patience, that pushes the limits of your endurance, but it also offers a profound sense of freedom, of untamed wilderness. The occasional glimpse of a wild animal, a deer darting into the brush, a hawk circling high above, a rabbit frozen in the grass. These are fleeting moments of connection to the natural world, reminders of the other inhabitants of this vast, untamed land. They are silent encounters, respectful observations, a quiet acknowledgement of the shared space. The sound of horses whinnying softly in the distance, a quiet murmur that carries on the wind. It's a comforting sound, a reminder of your constant companions, of the animals who share your journey, who are as much a part of this life as you are. Their presence is a silent reassurance, a gentle hum in the background of your existence. The feeling of dust caking your eyelashes, making your eyes gritty and irritated. You blink constantly, trying to clear them, but the dust is relentless, always present, always finding its way into every crevice. It's a constant, minor annoyance, a subtle discomfort that you simply learn to live with, to accept as part of the daily routine. The way the sun bakes the earth, turning the ground to a cracked, powdery surface that rises in clouds with every step. It's a pervasive presence, a physical manifestation of the aridity of the land. You feel its heat radiating up from the ground, through the soles of your boots, a constant, simmering warmth that never truly leaves you. The quiet, almost imperceptible shifts in the herd at night, a soft lowing, a rustle of movement, a subtle change in the rhythm of their breathing. You learn to listen for these sounds, to interpret them, to sense when something is amiss, when a potential stampede might be brewing. It's a heightened sense of awareness, a constant vigilance that becomes second nature. The worn, smooth feel of the wooden stock of your rifle, polished by countless hours of handling. It's a tool, a necessary companion, a quiet promise of protection in a dangerous world. You clean it meticulously, keep it loaded, knowing that its reliability might one day be the difference between life and death. It's a heavy, comforting weight in your hands, a silent presence that is always near. The taste of stale, lukewarm water from your canteen, sometimes tasting faintly of canvas or metal. It's rarely refreshing, but it's enough to quench the worst of the thirst, to keep you going for another hour, another mile. You learn to ration it, to savor each small sip, knowing that every drop is precious in this parched land. The physical exhaustion that settles deep in your bones at the end of each day. A profound, all-consuming weariness that makes every movement an effort. Your muscles ache, your joints protest, and your eyelids feel impossibly heavy. It's the kind of exhaustion that sleep rarely fully relieves, a deep, ingrained fatigue that becomes a constant companion. The subtle hum of insects at dusk, a high-pitched drone that fills the air, a reminder of the teeming life that exists even in this harsh environment. Mosquitoes, flies, gnats. They are a persistent nuisance, buzzing around your ears, landing on your skin, causing small, irritating bites. You swat at them, curse at them, but they are relentless, an unavoidable part of the summer nights. The camaraderie around the campfire, the quiet sharing of stories, of tobacco, of silence. These are the moments that break the monotony, that forge the bonds of brotherhood. You listen to the quiet murmur of voices, the occasional soft chuckle, the rhythmic strumming of a guitar. It's a profound sense of connection, a shared experience that transcends words, creating a sense of belonging in the vast, lonely wilderness. The long shadows cast by the setting sun, stretching across the plains, transforming familiar landscapes into stark, dramatic vistas. The sky ablaze with color, fading slowly from fiery oranges to deep, bruised purples. It's a moment of quiet contemplation, a time to reflect on the day's journey, to simply exist in the fading light. The chill that settles in after sundown, a biting cold that penetrates your clothes, seeping into your bones. You pull your blanket tighter, huddle closer to the dwindling fire, shivering uncontrollably. It's a constant battle against the elements, a relentless pursuit of warmth in the vast, indifferent cold of the night. The memory of the last time you were in a town, the sounds of laughter, the smell of cooked food, the sight of clean streets. It's a distant, fading memory, a tantalizing whisper of civilization that haunts your mind during the long, silent stretches of the trail. You yearn for it, for the brief respite, for the fleeting moments of comfort. The quiet wisdom that comes from years of living on the range, of observing the land, the animals, and your fellow men. You learn to read the subtle signs, to anticipate the unpredictable, to trust your instincts. It's a hard-won knowledge, gained through countless hours of observation and experience, a silent understanding of the harsh realities of the world. The feeling of the hard ground beneath your bedroll, its uneven surface pressing into your aching body. You shift constantly, trying to find a comfortable position, a temporary reprieve from the relentless discomfort. It's a physical reminder of your rugged existence, a constant presence that never truly leaves you, even in sleep. The smell of horse dung, a pervasive, earthy aroma that mixes with the dust and sweat. It's an unavoidable part of your daily life, a constant reminder of the animals who share your journey, who are as much a part of this landscape as you are. You barely notice it anymore. It has become a part of the background, a natural element of the environment. The sheer boredom of driving cattle day after day, week after week. The slow, predictable rhythm of the herd. The endless, unchanging landscape. Your mind drifts, sometimes to memories, sometimes to dreams, sometimes to nothing at all. It's a profound monotony, a quiet, enduring challenge that tests your patience, that forces you to confront the vast emptiness within yourself. The fleeting thought of home, a brief image of a familiar face, a warm fire, a soft bed. It's a tantalizing whisper, a brief pang of longing that quickly fades, replaced by the immediate demands of the trail. You learn to live in the present, to focus on the task at hand, to suppress the yearning for a world that is now so far away. The subtle sounds of the prairie at night, the rustle of grass, the distant chirp of an insect, the soft sigh of the wind. They are gentle sounds, comforting in their familiarity, a lullaby that guides you deeper into the quiet embrace of sleep. You listen, not actively, but passively, allowing them to wash over you, to blend into the background hum of the vast, sleeping land. The weight of your worn leather chaps, stiff and heavy, protecting your legs from thorns and brush. They are a constant presence, a second skin that chafes and rubs, but also provides essential protection. You feel their familiar weight, their subtle discomfort, a testament to the endless miles you've ridden, the countless hours you've spent in the saddle, the taste of dust in your mouth, a fine, gritty powder that coats your tongue, making it feel like sandpaper. You try to rinse it away with lukewarm water, but it's always there, a persistent reminder of the dry, arid landscape. It's a minor annoyance, but a constant one, a subtle discomfort that you've learned to accept as an intrinsic part of your existence. The silence of the vast, open plains, broken only by the natural sounds of wind, cattle, and the distant calls of wild animals. It's a profound silence, a deep, pervasive quiet that allows your thoughts to expand, to drift, to simply exist without interruption. It's a comforting stillness, a boundless expanse that cradles you in its quiet embrace. The feeling of the sun on your skin, relentless and unforgiving in summer, a welcome warmth in winter. It bakes the dust, dries your clothes, and tans your skin to a leathery toughness. You feel its warmth, its power, a constant presence that shapes your days, that dictates the rhythm of your work. It's a powerful, primal connection to the natural world, the simplicity of your existence, reduced to the fundamental needs of survival. Food, water, shelter, the care of your horse and the herd. There are no complex decisions, no intricate social structures, just the raw, unvarnished demands of the land. It's a stripped-down existence, a life of profound simplicity that allows for a deep connection to the natural world, the deep, satisfying ache in your muscles at the end of a long, hard day. It's a sign of honest labor, of physical exertion, a testament to the strength and resilience of your body. You feel it, acknowledge it, and then allow it to slowly recede, dissolving into the gathering stillness of the night. a quiet invitation to rest. The faint scent of wood smoke clinging to your clothes, a subtle aroma that is inextricably linked to the campfire, to the warmth, to the camaraderie of the night. It's a comforting smell, a familiar presence that evokes memories of quiet conversations, of shared meals, of moments of fleeting peace in the vast wilderness. The rhythmic sway of your horse beneath you, a constant, gentle motion that becomes a part of your own heartbeat. It's a comforting sensation, a natural rhythm that lulls you into a state of quiet contemplation, a profound connection to your animal companion, a silent dance across the endless plains. The memory of the clear, bright stars, shining with an intensity that seems to pierce the very fabric of the night. You recall their dazzling beauty, their silent grandeur, a reminder of the infinite vastness of the universe, and your own tiny, fleeting place within it. They are a profound source of quiet awe, a silent comfort in the darkness. The feeling of the cold night air on your face, a crisp, clean sensation that invigorates your senses, but also reminds you of the biting chill that can seep into your bones. You pull your collar higher, huddle deeper into your blanket, seeking warmth, seeking comfort, in the vast, indifferent cold of the night. The taste of the last drop of water from your canteen, lukewarm and gritty, but a precious, life-sustaining liquid that quenches the last vestiges of your thirst. It's a final moment of sustenance, a quiet satisfaction that allows you to surrender to the gathering quiet, to the profound peace of sleep. The quiet understanding that comes from living a life of profound simplicity. You learn to appreciate the small things, the fleeting moments of comfort, the silent beauty of the natural world. It's a wisdom gained through experience, a deep, ingrained understanding of the rhythms of life and death in the vast, untamed West. The faint, rhythmic sound of your own breathing, a steady, unwavering cadence that becomes the only sound you hear, slowly, gently, guiding you deeper into the quiet embrace of unconsciousness. It's a peaceful sound, a continuous hum that merges with the surrounding silence, becoming one with the profound stillness of the night. Your body feels utterly relaxed, heavy yet weightless, sinking deeper and deeper into the soft oblivion of sleep. The aches and pains, the dust and the grime, the demands of the trail, they are dissolving, fading, becoming infinitely distant whispers in the vast, silent sea of unconsciousness. The vastness of the sky above, the endless plains below. They are no longer distinct, separate entities, but have merged into a single, boundless expanse of comforting darkness. You are not just in the silence, you are becoming the silence itself. The memories, once vivid and demanding, have gently receded, becoming soft, shimmering echoes at the very edge of your awareness. They no longer hold power over you. They simply exist, beautiful and transient, like faint reflections on a still pond. There is no longer a sense of self, of individual identity. The cowboy, the man who rode the range, who braved the dust and the storms, that figure has dissolved into the profound, enveloping peace. You are simply awareness, floating effortlessly in an ocean of timeless tranquility. The concept of time has utterly ceased to exist. There is no past, no future, only this eternal, unchanging present, a single moment stretched into infinity. You are beyond time, beyond its grasp, existing in a state of pure, unadulterated being. The sounds, even the most subtle, have faded into an absolute, sacred stillness. It is the silence that existed before all things, and the silence that will remain long after, encompassing everything, holding you in its boundless embrace. You are sinking deeper, effortlessly, into the profound depths of unconsciousness, into the boundless, silent sea of sleep. The surface of consciousness, the realm of the waking world, is now an infinitely distant point of light, no longer visible. There is no resistance, no effort, no struggle, only a gentle, inexorable surrender to the profound, encompassing peace that holds you. You are drifting, floating, becoming one with the vast, silent embrace of oblivion. The range, the cattle, the endless chores, they are not just distant memories, but forgotten echoes. They are harsh realities finally and utterly stilled. Your life, a long, arduous journey, filled with hardship and resilience, has reached its quiet, eternal destination. You are home, truly home, in the boundless, silent embrace of sleep. The dust and the chores, the cattle and the comrades, all fade, and you are left with only the profound, comforting quiet, carrying you deeper and deeper into the endless, peaceful night, a night that stretches into eternity.